Hello, everybody. I got a few minutes here on a lunch break, so we're gonna have a little talk because I keep getting messages, comments, people sending me on constitutional conventions, and they've written provincial constitutions already. Here's the problem: it's that there is world law. We are bound to. There's no country who gets to make up their own rules in this world. If it was that easy, you wouldn't have all of the nations you have locked into absolute internal conflicts. I talk a lot about supply and value chains, who runs them, how you get your products to market. It's nice to get involved, get ideas, but you really require world experts. If it was that easy, so many nations out there, a heck of a lot stronger than Canada is, would have already been very successful on this. Now, nations have tried this. Believe it or not, this isn't the first time this has come up in the world. There's been many nations to try this, and they ended up with imposed constitutions. When you hear the term peace and security, when I talk about the UNSC, they have set rules of this world. That law of sovereignty I always bring up. It's the first thing since World War II. World War II set the stage for a new world constitution. That's what it is. Placed upon every continent for the first time in absolute world history, people. That started in 1945 by none other than the United States of America. It's no accident that the League of Nations was replaced and the UN was founded in San Francisco. I suggest people read. We don't just get to make up our rules and say, oh, this is great and wonderful. This is how we're going to practice law. This is how our nation's going to operate. I appreciate everybody's energy in that and those that participate. Many of them comment. They want to get involved or get me on board. Been down this road years ago, people. And you know what? I set about going out on the world stage, and I've stayed faithful to that, finding the greatest experts in the world alive today. Of course, I've read past experts long gone now, and of new experts of today who have utilized those great writings. That's why I'm grabbing them. Do I have them all? No, but I have more than half the nations in the world. I'm working on others, and even countries in what you would call dictatorships or in that communist system. I've even had stage with them. As many as the rest, no, but the stage has been there. And I'm going to tell everybody something. That side from the former Soviet Union are a lot more interactive, a lot more democratic in reality than any of the colonial powers today. As I just went through it again today, I even see it with left governments. As soon as you don't see or come eye to eye with them or don't go along with the narrative, out, you're banned, or you're just not even given a platform to even talk. Regardless of what great writings you bring forward or how many experts you bring forward. And this isn't, when I say that left or right, I don't mean the left and right you may all think I mean. And when people talk about law, we're talking about up and down. Sure, China can be up here. Absolutely. Some other civil law nations range up here. But Canada and its colonialism is way up here. That's reality, everybody. And this is the education that has to be imparted to all of you. Because if it's not, and we go about this as we are, how we've been educated, and we go forward thinking very naively that we can, you're going to find the great pitfalls of this world and get consumed by it. Like I said, we're not the first nation that went about that. coming out of colonialism or dictatorship, only to watch those nations go into even worse dictatorship, absolute regimes form. Myanmar, you think that's just one story after a democracy was established? No. Military regimes pop up. Codifying constitutions is serious business. And if you don't do it right, world powers come in and they will impose it upon you. If you don't believe me, I suggest you get out and read. A lot of these people selling their narratives, they may have had the best intentions. So did all the others before them. Literally 85 other would-be nations before them only end up in absolute problematic situations with world powers and end up with imposed constitutions. And you could say, oh, well, don't worry, the USA will come in. There's no guarantee on that. There's no guarantee whatsoever. People get wrapped up in this law, this system, that system. They don't understand rules of governance. They don't understand that just because you have a whole list of rights means nothing. I can show you the greatest world experts measured from the best universities around this world that will show you that countries, just because they have all the rights and freedoms in the world codified, without that how-to governance, they ended up in the worst autocracies or dictatorships the world's ever known. And the people got nothing. And they're locked into it today. This is serious business, not to be taken lightly. I wouldn't even attempt, as big as my heart is, to write a constitution for any province unilaterally with a small group or this or that, with no education whatsoever. And I'm blessed that I've read a lot and I've been involved with the best of the best worldwide. But it takes so many to show so many of you and go through all this stuff in real historical reality of people who spent a lifetime learning specifics in specific countries, mastering it to bring that forward for all of you. And then when you're all in a town hall situation, getting the best of the best shown to you, and you get to make an educated decision, because people can be their worst enemy with the best heart and intention. That's why it has to be done this way. And no average people or people with the best intentions are going to be able to do it right. I can't even do it right. It requires many, many great experts properly presented out to absolutely all the masses, all the communities, so you get a uniform decision dependingly, and everybody votes, except the things that may not be to your liking, except the things that will be. That's real democracy, real codification. And just because something may not sit well with you today, as we just watched in the States, that tremendous Constitution actually protected all the American people, one of the toughest in the world. My time's up. I gotta go. Share. It's not to put down all these groups. It's the fact that this has been done literally almost 100 times worldwide just in the last almost coming on 80 years. Failure after failure. America was an absolute phenom. It's tremendous what happened there, but there's things that can be improved on. And there's education that you, the people, got to know. And it requires the best of the best from many, many different aspects to teach you why things are written the way they are. What worked here, what didn't work over here, why not to do this. Here's a real worldly example why it's a tremendous strength. And that brings left and right together in a center and allows the people to go forward. And then from there, you've got a protection in place for your children's future so that any dumbbell, I'm sorry to say that, any dumbbell with money, wealth, or fame can get elected and never be able to ruin the next generation. That's what you all need. Not necessarily what you want, but what you absolutely need. Thank you. Good night. I got to get back. Bye now.